Hey friends, welcome to my class on Indian Special. I know we all enjoy Thai, Mexican, Chinese, but Indian has a special place. Whether it's the kids or the elderly, the whole family enjoys an Indian meal. So let's get started with Amritsari Paneer Masala. Now, Amritsari Paneer Masala is a masala gravy with paneer in it, coated with some gram flour and flavorings of ajwain or carom seeds. So how do you go about it? I have a pressure cooker here and 1 kg of nice ripe red tomatoes cut roughly into four. Don't have to cut it very fine, mota mota kaatne. So 1 kg of tomatoes goes into it. Then we have 1 teaspoon of salt going into it, 1 teaspoon of sugar, yes, sugar, to balance the sourness of the tomatoes, and 1 teaspoon of Nita Mehta Kashmiri Mirch powder. This gives a nice red color to the tomatoes. This is the Kashmiri Mirch powder that I've used, and I love using it in all my curries, tomato-based curries. Now it gives a nice color and a kick to the curry. And a cup of water. Mix everything well. Close the pressure cooker and allow it to whistle. And after the first whistle, just keep it on medium-low heat for about 10 minutes. 10 ki jagah 12 bhi kar lo, but don't do it less because you want your tomatoes nice and cooked. So don't be in a rush. Keep it on low heat for about 10-12 minutes or give it 5-6 quick whistles if you are in a hurry. But see that they are nice and soft. After that, after they have been finished with the cooking part, remove it from the stove and let them cool down. Let the pressure drop by itself. Take out in a big utensil to cool down and then puree it. It's a good idea to puree it in 2 batches because sometimes it just pops out. So it's good to puree it in 2 batches. And once you pureed it, you have to strain it. Now don't forget the straining part because you want a nice, smooth, velvety gravy. So we grind the tomatoes and strain it to remove all the seeds and the skin of the tomatoes. So I have this done with me because naturally this will cool down also if I let it boil also. So I have this with me. It's boiled, pureed and strained. I'll just remove this from here so that we can proceed further. Now, how do you go further? 2 tablespoons of oil to begin with. And I'm going to add some green chilies and some green cardamoms to it and a tej patta. Now the cardamoms are whole, but it's a good idea to just pound them so that they open, because unless they open, they don't release their flavor. So let the oil get hot and I'm going to add a tej patta or a bay leaf and these 4 choti ilaichi green cardamoms. After that, I'm going to add some green chilies whole. If you like, you can just. I'm waiting for the oil to get hot actually. The oil needs to be hot because unless what only brings out the flavors if the oil is hot. If the oil is cold, अगर ठंडे तेल में आप कुछ डालोगे छोटी इलायची तो उसकी खुशबू नहीं आएगी. So wait, don't be in a rush. See that your oil is hot, and then we add our bay leaves and our pounded green cardamoms. I'm going to wait till it turns a little fragrant and green chilies to it. You can add them whole or just give a slit. Next, I have one chopped onion, which is finely chopped. Chop it finely. Don't let your green chilies turn dark. And I'm going to make it light golden. I've been taking quite a few online classes recently, and if you've missed any of my classes, you can buy my videos. They are available on cookflix.in. All the class videos are available there. So let's wait for the onions to get a little golden. I'm going to then put a capsicum, a chopped capsicum in it. But not yet. I'm going to wait till it turns a little golden, because I don't want to cook my capsicums too much. Light golden. In this, I will be using dhania powder, and I have this nice dhania powder, Nita Mehta dhania powder. And as I've always shown you, our haldi is pure and organic. So we are going to use this also here. Okay. The onions are kind of light golden, and I'm going to put one capsicum chopped. Saute this capsicum for a while. And then after that, in goes in ginger garlic paste. Saute the ginger garlic so that the raw flavor goes. When you make ginger garlic paste at home, what is the proportion of garlic to ginger? It's always 1:2. The ginger should be less, because if the ginger is more, it imparts a bitter flavor. And if you want to store your ginger garlic paste, it's a good idea to add a little oil instead of water when grinding it. And remember, when you peel your ginger, don't peel it, scrape it. That way you'll get more out of, that small block of ginger. Okay. We've sauteed the ginger. I can't smell any raw flavor. So then that means it's done. I'm adding a little dhania powder 2 teaspoons, and a little bit of haldi powder, Nita Mehta, haldi powder, Nita Mehta, dhania powder. Dhania powder adds that, texture to the dish. It gives it thickness and binding. Now I'm going to add some Nita Mehta Kasoori Methi, its leaves. Kasoori Methi is dry fat leaves. After all this, in goes the tomato paste that we had made. So we had boiled the tomatoes with salt, sugar, and Kashmiri Mirch powder. After that, ground them to a puree, and then strained the puree, discarded what was there in the strainer, and then I'm adding this. Now we need to simmer this for a while. Now, while it is simmering, I'll tell you about the paneer. Paneer in any dish, remember, not this because it's going to splatter otherwise. Whenever you cook paneer, if you, let me reduce the heat also. If you don't boil it, it's very hard. So even if you're making butter paneer, the curry should be given a good boil, a rolling boil. But if you think you should keep boiling it and forget about it, it's hard, but don't undercook. Give it a boil at least. Heat it nicely. It should heat through so that it turns soft. It only turns soft when it's heated through. Okay. Now this has been simmering for a while. You do it for a little longer. I'm going to make it faster, but otherwise you need to cook it for as per the recipe, it says 5-7 minutes. So do it for that much time. Now, once that is done, I'm going to add Nita Mehta Paneer Masala. In any dish, I love using any paneer dish. This paneer masala is a must for me. So I'm adding 1 tablespoon Nita Masala. You don't have to cook this very long. Normally, what we do is we dry the bhuno the masala till oil separates and all. You don't have to do that because your tomatoes are already cooked. So you don't have to dry it and bhuno it till it leaves the oil and then add water again. Don't do that. 5-7 minutes of cooking on low heat is good enough. Okay. Now this recipe has Khoya in it. For those, for people, Khoya is, in India, it's very easy to get, but we have people from other countries also, and maybe Khoya would not be possible for you. I'll tell you how to make it at home when this is being cooked. But otherwise, for people who have the Khoya, you can freeze it. Like I get about ½ kg of Khoya and it's always there in my freezer. It lasts very long for more than 2 months. So you can just freeze your Khoya. Now, if you don't have Khoya, what do? You take about, I've given it in the recipe also, you take about ½ cup of milk powder and add about 3/4 cup of water to it and make it into a paste. And then what you do is, in a pan, you put 1 tablespoon of ghee and you add that paste. That paste will start drying up. So once the paste dries up, then it's going to leave the pan. जैसे घी छोड़ देता है वो. तो आपने मिल्क पाउडर और पानी को मिलाकर पेस्ट बना लेनी है और 1 चम्मच घी में इस पेस्ट को जब कुक करोगे तो पहले ये गाढ़ा होगा. गाढ़ा होने के बाद वो घी छोड़ देगा. वो समझ लो आपका खोए की जगह आप इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. तो अब मैं इसके अंदर डाल रही हूँ 1 cup of grated. Now see, I have grated finely because sometimes it doesn't dissolve well and goes faster also. So grate it finely. It's a good option to grate it finely. So this is 100 grams of khoya which I've added. This gives a rich Punjabi taste to the dish. I've reduced the heat now. When I'm doing all this, I've reduced the heat. See, that's why I bring also. Let the khoya melt properly. I haven't added salt, though we had added salt in the beginning to the tomatoes, but it will take a little more. Okay. Now, whenever you want to finish a dish, it's always good to add butter when you want to finish. Don't start cooking in butter. It's a good idea if you want to make your butter paneer or anything. You can start in oil and finish with butter. So I'm going to finish it with butter now. A tablespoon of butter and about ½ cup of cream. Half of this has been used. This is about ½ cup. And last but not the least, the garam masala. Now, if you had powdered Kasoori Methi, in the sense somebody had asked me about the Kasoori Methi, I would now sprinkle it with the garam masala. So Kasoori Methi powder will go at the end. And now I'm going to add Nita Mehta garam masala. And this is what I've added, Nita Mehta garam masala. All my masalas are available at nitamehta.com at 20% discount for you. And if you like my books, if you like my books, on Amazon, we have this free books also with your masalas. There's no discount, but you get the books also with it. So these are the kind of books that you get. This is for more Punjabi recipes. This is lose weight. Then we have in Hindi books also, South Indian cooking and chicken recipes. Chicken reminds me, you can put chicken also in this gravy, if you like, instead of paneer. I'll tell you how to do the chicken also when we are doing the paneer. So let me just taste it. I'm going to switch it off. I don't want to cook too much after adding the cream and the butter and the garam masala, because these are finishing ingredients and should be not cooked for too long. I think it will take a salt. I don't think we added salt later. It will, but it has a nice taste. And at the end, you know, these things have a hint of sweetness. So either you add honey or just a pinch of sugar, whatever you like. I have sugar around, so I'll just put sugar. So our gravy is done. Now, this is the paneer. I have, if you noticed, I have not cut them very thin and they are not very thick. So these are nice, proper medium-sized pieces. All I have to do is, first I'll sprinkle a little melted butter on it. Put some in the pan also. I'm going to do this in butter. I'm going to add some ajwain on the paneer, some Kashmiri Mirch powder, and I'm just going to mix this. I think I'll have to use my hands to mix it properly. See the color of the Kashmiri Mirch? Gives a nice, lovely color. Now, next is you take some besan and बारीक कटा हुआ कोरिएंडर और हरा धनिया. इन दोनों को आप मिक्स कर लो, धनिया और कोरिएंडर को. ये कोटिंग के लिए है. तो हमने पनीर में क्या क्या डाला है? अजवाइन, कश्मीरी मिर्च पाउडर और थोड़ा सा मक्खन पिघला हुआ जिससे वो कोट कर गया, एंड ऑफ कोर्स अ लिटिल सॉल्ट. अब मेरे पास ये कोटिंग के लिए धनिया और कच्चा बेसन है, बुना हुआ नहीं है, कच्चा बेसन है. एंड all I have to do is take my pieces like this, coat it nicely all over. ये देखिए, this makes an excellent snack also. Just put a little chaat masala on it. Use Nita Mehta chaat masala and have it as a snack. It goes very well as a snack. So just let me rotate this butter a little. There's no need to put butter in this, but I had a little left, I just put it. And I'm using a steel pan. You know, people who use sometimes say that steel pan में अच्छा नहीं होता है, खाना चिपका है and things like that. So what you need to do is heat your pan properly before you start cooking. Don't put oil also in it, just heat it properly, and then you put a little oil and then you put your paneer or anything. It won't stick then. Paneer to the pan, let the paneer gets done. What you can do is, I have some left khoya which I'm going to grate, and just let me reduce this heat. I'm doing it on low heat, not on very high heat, so that it doesn't burn. Okay. Now let me just take this out. These two first pieces have been done. See how nicely they've been done. Don't they look like a nice snack? And let me turn the other pieces also. I think I'll take a pair of tongs. Here. If you like, you can just drizzle a little oil. If you feel, it's getting kala ho raha hai agar, तो थोड़ा सा तेल डाल दो, काला हो रहा है अगर. Okay. Now I've added oil, I can increase the heat a little. Oh my. Okay. Now I was talking about the garnishing. I have this khoya with me, which I'm going to grate very finely on it with a thin grater. And I have some roasted magas. You can use sunflower seeds, melon seeds. What is magas? Magas is nothing but char magas जैसे बोलते हैं. So it is cucumber seeds, it's pumpkin seeds, melon seeds, sunflower seeds. तो ये चार तरह के बीज जब इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं तो इनको हम मगज बोल देते हैं. So you can either use watermelon seeds or any kind of seeds would do. Just waiting for it to get. Now this is the dish I have which I'm going to use. Now this is done. Our gravy is also done. And I'm going to put this in the gravy. Now when you want to serve it, you leave this separately and you leave the gravy separately. And when you want to serve it, bring the gravy to a boil and then add your paneer in it. And bring it to a boil again. That is very important. Now to serve it, take a dish. It's a good idea to remove the bay leaf. You can grate your khoya. Finally, see, use this kind of a grater. I'm grating it on a side. And I'm going to put some magar seeds also on it. I would love my paneer to show, so I can just remove a little from the top pieces of paneer. And then some chopped coriander. Let one side the gravy should show and the other side can take up the garnishes. So we are done with this. Here. I can put some more of this. These taste, I've roasted these. These are not raw. Roasted, I roast my nuts in the microwave. It just takes a minute, minute or two. Beech mein ek baar hila do and roast the magas and any kind of nuts. So we are done with the Amritsari paneer. Now, if you were doing chicken, what would you do? You can do chicken also same way. Just marinate it with lemon juice first. So lemon juice and chicken masala tastes very nice. And you can just add a little besan to it. Don't add too much besan to it. 1 teaspoon of besan to it and saute it till it's cooked. Cover and cook it and add it to the gravy. Now, next, what we are doing is a Mangalorean dish. We all like our, we like to have a side dish of mixed vegetables. Apart we bought the same tomato, pyaz ke masale ke saath mixed vegetable. So let's do our mixed vegetable differently. Now, in this sabz ghee roast. It's a Mangalorean dish, and so we are going to use chilies which are from Karnataka. This Karnataki mirchi is very close to Kashmiri mirch, and it has these wrinkles on it, and they are quite similar in taste, color. So you could either use Kashmiri mirch or Bedki mirch or any mirchi, but not the regular mirchi. The regular mirchi gets too hot. So this mirchi, now even this has heat. So it's a good idea to cut the chili like this. And then I just like to slit open. And then once it's slit open, I like to discard these seeds. And then cut with the scissor into small pieces. So this is how we roast our chilies. Now, what are the other things that we are going to use in this besides the chilies? If you see here, I have peppercorns, which are less than the other things. This is all half a tablespoon of sabut dhania or coriander seeds, half a tablespoon of cumin seeds or jeera, and half a tablespoon of fennel या सौंफ. मोटी वाली सौंफ ज़्यादा अच्छी रहती है. And half a teaspoon काली मिर्च. लाल मिर्च भी डाल रहे हैं, काली मिर्च भी ज़्यादा हो जाएगी तो फिर गले में लगेगा. तो काली मिर्च थोड़ी है, बाकी चीज़ें ज़्यादा है. तो अब हमने इनको एक भूनना है, पर एक साथ नहीं भूनना है. Because if these take different time, this takes different time. So I've put a pan on heat and I'm going to put the chilies and roast them for just a little while. बस इसको काली नहीं करना है आपने, थोड़ा सा, you know, while we are roasting them, sometimes there's a little moisture, तो वो पिसती नहीं है फिर ठीक से. तो एक बार जब ये भुन जाती हैं, तो फिर ये पिस जाती है. तो बस काली मत करना, थोड़ी सी देर इन्हें भून लेंगे हम. खुशबू भी आने लगी, मिर्ची भी आने लगी नाक में, तो बस फिर आपकी ये हो गई है. Okay. Now I'm going to add these spices. So coriander seeds, cumin seeds, fennel seeds, and peppercorns all go in together. Again, low heat पे इसे भी 1-2 minute to just bring out the flavors. The heat kind of releases the flavor. Okay, we are done with this also. Now take a mixer jar, put the red chilies in it. थोड़ा सा और इसे भून लेते हैं. एक छोटा सा इमली का गोला बिना बीज के. तो ये एक इमली का गोला डाल रही हूँ इसके अंदर मिर्ची के साथ. इसको भूना नहीं है हमने. और साथ में मैं डाल रही हूँ 8-10 लहसुन और गार्लिक क्लोव्स. Chop them roughly, and a small piece of ginger, not too much, just half an inch piece, and I'm going to just chop this. And now I'm going to grind all this together along with this. Let me put it in this, it will cool slightly. And we'll need a little water for this. Half a cup of water, but don't add all the water together. If you add all the water together, you won't be able to grind it to a very smooth paste. Okay. Now, next we'll be doing, now what are the vegetables which are going into this sabz ghee roast? पहले तो घी ले लूं क्योंकि घी में बनना है सब. ये जो सब्जियां हैं, अगर आप देख रहे हो तो मैंने ब्लांच करके रखी हैं. बेबी कॉर्न्स हैं, ये बेबी कॉर्न्स हैं जिनको मैंने गोल गोल काट लिया है. ये कद्दू है, जो मैंने, बहुत छोटे नहीं बहुत बड़े नहीं, फ्रेंच बीन्स हैं, आधा इंच के पीस हैं, और कुछ मटर के दाने हैं। तो नमक और हल्दी वाले पानी से इन सब्जियों को मैंने उबाल लिया है। इसके अंदर मैं गोभी भी डाल रही हूँ। अगर मैं चाहूँ तो गोभी भी साथ में ब्लांच कर सकती हूँ, बट टेस्ट फ्राइड से आता है, तो मैं इसमें फ्राइड गोभी डालूंगी। मैंने गोभी को ऐसे तल लिया है, अलग से तल के रखा हुआ है। और फ्लोरेट का साइज मैंने आपको दिखाया था, ये वाला रखिए, बहुत बड़ा नहीं बहुत छोटा नहीं। ओके, नाउ टू स्टार्ट विथ what we also have, besides all these vegetables, we also have one aloo and a little piece of paneer. You can add paneer or aloo, or you can add both. I've taken half of both. Like I've written a big aloo, so I've not taken a very big aloo. And I'm going to cut the aloo into big pieces, 4 pieces, maybe one more. Just see the piece you like. This is all right. The paneer I can cut into pieces like this. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little ghee to the pan. Okay. I'm waiting for the paste to come because I'm going to do this first. So I hope this is clear. So what all do we have for the sabzi? Masala to alag tisra hai. Sabzi ke liye we have beans. नमक और हल्दी वाले पानी को उबाला, उसमें मैंने बीन्स डाले, पहले थोड़ी देर बीन्स को उबाला, फिर मैंने गाजर और कद्दू डाल दिया और बेबी कॉर्न डाल दिया, और जब सारी चीजें उबल गई तो मैंने उसमें फ्रोजन पीस डाल दिया। अब कितना उबालना है, चाहे 1 मिनट उबालो या 2 मिनट उबालो। उतारने से पहले सब्जियों को खा के देख लो कि वो आपकी पसंद की हैं। इफ यू आर सर्विंग टू एन एल्डरली गेस्ट, थोड़ी सॉफ्ट होनी चाहिए, यंगर के लिए थोड़ा सा क्रंची, बट इट्स अ गुड वे टू हैव द crisp tender, not too soft, not too hard, because very hard also, like it's not a salad, तो थोड़ा सा सॉफ्ट होनी चाहिए, चाहे 1 मिनट लगे या 2 मिनट लगे, will depend on the season. If beans were गाजर, विंटर गाजर होती तो जल्दी हो जाती, समर गाजर है थोड़ा सा टाइम लग रहा है, तो विंटर समर के हिसाब से आप अपनी सब्जियों को उबाल लो। इसमें मैंने पनीर और आलू दोनों ले लिए हैं। आलू उबला हुआ है, कच्चा नहीं है। गोभी अगर आप उबाल के ऐसे ही ब्लांच करके यूज करना चाहते हैं तो ब्लांच कर लो, पर नथिंग लाइक द फ्राइड कॉलीफ्लावर। व्हेन यू फ्राई इट, सी दैट यू फ्राई देम nicely so that they turn nice and golden, मतलब सफेद सफेद ना लगे आपके, गोल्डन हो जाए। ये थोड़े से चेरी टोमेटोज पड़े हुए थे फ्रिज में, so I thought I'll add them for a nice color. Our paste is ready and it's nice and smooth. थोड़ा पानी लेगा ये, और थोड़ी सी पतली कर दो बस। पतली करने का इसीलिए मतलब है यहाँ पर, क्योंकि ये मैंने थोड़ा सा इस पे भी लगानी है। ये देखिए, ये आपकी पेस्ट, तो ये मैं थोड़ी सी पेस्ट अपने पनीर पर और आलू पे लगा रही हूँ, और इस पर मैं डाल रही हूँ थोड़ी सी नीता मेहता हल्दी पाउडर, और नमक तो जाएगा ही, थोड़ा सा नमक। आलू या पनीर को ऐसे आप करोगे, देखो इसमें मैंने क्या पेस्ट लगाई है, जो पीसी है पेस्ट, और थोड़ी सी हल्दी और नमक। तो अब जैसे ये आलू की चाट बनती है, वैसे इसको 2 चम्मच तेल में आलू की चाट की तरह क्रिस्प कर लेते हैं। ये 2-3 मैंने पनीर के पीस भी रख दिए, इन केस somebody, if I was making an Amritsari paneer, I wouldn't put paneer in this, but I'm just showing it to you because some people like it. You can put both or either, your wish. Let me turn this and see. हो रहा है, बस बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है। पैन अच्छा गर्म होना चाहिए बिफोर यू पुट योर आलू एंड दी पनीर, क्योंकि अगर ठंडे पैन में इफ यू पुट इट, all the masala that you have put will stick to the pan. So it should be nice and hot. Actually heat the pan nicely before you put the aloo and the paneer. Now this is done. You can do it for a little longer if you feel like. It tastes better. Okay. So remove this when this is done. I had put a tablespoon of ghee. I'm going to saute the vegetables, but no ghee just now. ये उबले हुए हैं तो थोड़ा सा इसमें भुना हुआ टेस्ट आ जाएगा. तो ये ब्लांच्ड, उबले हुए मतलब ब्लांच्ड सब्जियां हैं. तो इसी पैन में अब मैं ये सब्जियां भी सौटे कर लूंगी. इसमें मैं नमक नहीं डाल रही क्योंकि उबालते समय I had put salt and haldi. When I was boiling it, I had put salt and haldi, so I won't be adding any salt. And in this, see, I have put salt and haldi. Salt, haldi, and the chili paste. This chili paste that we had made of all the whole spices and all, that I added about a tablespoon. If you had blanched the cauliflower, if you don't want to have the fried one, you would do the cauliflower also in this. I'll just separate the paneer and I'm going to add these vegetables now to this. Okay. Now, how to saute the vegetables? Take 2 tablespoons of ghee. Some ghee roast, so ghee. अभी हमने 1 चम्मच ही यूज किया था इसमें. अब इसमें हम डालेंगे. अब ये बहुत जल्दी से बन जाता है. बस घी जैसे ही थोड़ा सा गर्म हुआ, घी को बहुत गर्म नहीं करते हैं. इसमें हमने 2 प्याज डाल दिए और 2 प्याज को हमने गोल्डन कर लिया. Everything is nice and crunchy, and yet it has a bite to it, and yet it's soft. Okay. Now, next what we need to do is, I'm going to add the cauliflower also because I shouldn't forget it. I'm going to add all this together. I'm going to just remove the paneer. The paneer should not be added. Why? Because if you cook the paneer for too long, it's going to get rubbery or chewy. So if आलू भी मैंने डाल दिए हैं, सिर्फ पनीर निकाल रही हूँ. पनीर को ज्यादा नहीं पकाते हैं, इसलिए पनीर अलग कर दिया मैंने. प्याज को हम थोड़ा सा गोल्डन करेंगे और अब इसके अंदर हम डालेंगे. प्याज जब गोल्डन हो जाएगा तो करी पेस्ट, और ये मैंने करी पत्ते काट के रखे हैं. बारीक बारीक करी पत्तों को काट लो. ये इसके अंदर जाएंगे. I have to just wait for this to get a little golden. Okay, the onions are turning golden. I prefer using my steel pans actually. Steel pans, you know, when when I first bought my steel pan, people said, you know, even my help, she was not able to use the steel pan. She was not very happy using it. But I had tried it very nicely. And the reason is that I had to explain to everyone how to use it, my friends and all. What you need to do is when you use a steel pan, first of all, buy a heavy bottom pan. And when you put it on fire, don't put the oil in. Because you want the pan to get very hot, but if the oil gets hot, it's not a good idea. It starts smoking. So put the steel pan on fire and let it really get hot. Sometimes you see a haze of colors also on the pan. You'll see kind of a rainbow color. That is the time your pan is really hot. Then you reduce the heat and you put your oil. That takes a few seconds to get hot, and you start, even if you fry your paneer or aloo or make any sabzi, your bhuno, your pyaz, adrak, lasan, Nothing sticks to it. And steel pans are a very good investment. Okay, our onions are done. And now I'm going to add this paste, what we had made. If you remember, it is the Karnataka red chilies, which is called Green Chillies, and the whole spices, a little adrak lasan, imli bina beech ke tamarind. If you like, you can soak it and then use it, or use a little pulp, and water to grind. Start by adding little less water so that you can grind it nicely. If you add all the water at once, then वो बारीक नहीं पिसता है. This is exactly how I wanted my onions, golden. Now I'm going to add the paste. I had used 1 tablespoon on my paneer and aloo, but I have the rest of it in the mixer grinder. It smells so nice. The sauce ka flavor is coming. I can smell the red chilies. Okay. इसको भी अच्छी तरह हम भून लेते हैं मसाले को. इसको अच्छे से भून लेना. जल्दबाजी नहीं करना है इसको भूनने में, बिकॉज समटाइम्स अगर आपके ये नॉन स्टिक नहीं है और चिपकने लगा है when you are भूनोing it, तो थोड़ा सा पानी का छींट दे दो. Add a dash of water, splash of water, and bhuno it for 3-4 minutes, because everything is raw in this. Adrak lasan is raw in it, and the masalas are also not ज़्यादा भुने हुए नहीं हैं. तो थोड़ा सा भून लो to bring out the flavors. Okay. Once you are done with this, 4-5 minutes भूनने के बाद, I'm going to add a little dahi, but it's a good idea. Here you can use homemade or bazaar ki. Just whisk it a little. थोड़ा सा इसे हम भूनेंगे, और इसमें एंड में मैं थोड़ा सा गुड़ डालूंगी. अगर आपका मन कहे तो गुड़ डाल दो, अगर मन नहीं है गुड़ तो ब्राउन शुगर डाल दो, ब्राउन शुगर नहीं है तो शुगर डाल दो. But like my husband doesn't like meetha at all, so for him I would just avoid it. So it's your wish if you want to add this pinch. As I told you in the earlier recipe also, if you like it, add a pinch of sugar. जब आपका खाना तीखा होता है और खट्टा होता है तो थोड़ी सी चीनी की मिठास अच्छी लगती है. Okay, this is also done now. Now when you are adding the dahi, it's a good idea to reduce the flame and whisk it and add, साथ साथ दूसरे हाथ से चलाते रहो. अब इसमें हम नमक डाल देते हैं, पर पहले दही को अच्छी तरह जब तक मिक्स नहीं होती इसको छोड़ना नहीं है आपने. Okay, the dahi is also done. Let me add a little salt to it. ज्यादा नहीं डालना, क्योंकि आपकी सब्जियों में नमक है जब आपने उबाली है. बस सिर्फ मसाले के लिए नमक डाल दीजिए. बड़ा अच्छा रंग आया है मसाले का, और तेल भी अलग हो गया है, दही भी भुन गई है अच्छे से. Now I'm going to add some curry leaves. No, actually I'll add the sabzis now. All the sabzis along with the fried gobi and the fried aloo, the boiled and sautéed aloo. मसाले में अच्छी तरह मिला लो. And to finish, we are going to add a few things. अब इसको थोड़ी देर आप इसको ढक दो, थोड़ी देर इसको ढक दो, ताकि सारे जो पेस्ट डाली थी उसकी खुशबू आपकी सब्जियों में चली जाए. अब थोड़ी देर ढकने के बाद आप इसे हटा लो, 4-5 मिनट ढकने के बाद. एंड टू फिनिश इट, 1 चम्मच, छोटा चम्मच, ज्यादा नहीं, घी डाल दो, करी पत्ता डाल दो थोड़ी सी, थोड़ा नहीं, you can be generous with it. And Nita Mehta Garam Masala and a little गुड़. और अब आंच धीमी करके इसे मिक्स कर लेते हैं. See, the cherry tomatoes are looking nice. They were just lying around in my fridge. So if you don't have cherry tomatoes, what you can do is cut your tomato into 4, into 8. No, cut into 4, remove the seeds and cut them into chunks. And now lastly, when it's done, I'm going to add the paneer. So we finished with our Mangalorean delicacy and we are ready to serve. The next we'll do is sirke wale pyaz. Now sirke wale pyaz आपने ऐसे बनाकर, ये मैंने रेसिपी आपको कंटेंट्स में नहीं लिखा था, बट आई थॉट खाना बना रहे हैं तो व्हाई नॉट टीच यू इंडियन खाने के साथ सिरके वाले प्याज. तो मैं आपको ये सिरके वाले प्याज सिखा रही हूँ. नाउ दिस इज द सब्जी दैट वी आर डन विद. See the lovely alus and paneer and cherry tomato, everything looks so beautiful. Okay. So I think this is also, our ghee roast is ready. Mixed vegetable. Mixed vegetable is always a problem. You want to have vegetables, but in a different style. Now for the onions, what do? I put 1 cup of water to boil. Now with the water, I'm going to add some long and sabut kali mirch in the water. और इसके लिए एक ये बीटरूट लेकर, और बीटरूट के मुझे तो बड़े बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं, बिकॉज जब हम खाते हैं तो एक ही बार, इफ यू नो सम पीपल कट इट इनटू जुलियंस, इट्स सच अ प्रॉब्लम टेकिंग देम आउट. सो आई लाइक माय पीसेस नाइस एंड बिग. सो आई जस्ट, कच्चा बीटरूट है, इसको उबाला नहीं है, तो कच्चा बीटरूट आपने लेना है और आपने उसके स्लाइसेस कर लेने हैं ऐसे. तो पानी बस उबल गया और इस पानी में मैंने डालना था 2 बड़े चम्मच चीनी के और 1 चम्मच सॉल्ट का. सो द वाटर इज बॉइल्ड विथ सम होल स्पाइसेस एंड sugar and salt. Now after the water comes to a boil, I'm adding the beetroot and I'm going to let it boil for a minute till it releases its color. Now I have these pearl onions and these green chilies, which I have, just given a slit if you like. Some ginger slices, as I told you, I like them broad. I don't like very thin juliens. So I'm going to add all this. Now, these are pearl onions, and all what I've done is just peeled them and given a cross cut like this, halfway. Water's boiling, it's nice and purple, nice wine colored. I'm adding the onions and switching off the fire. After the onions are added, don't keep boiling. Just boil with the beetroot and add this also, the mirchis and the ginger. And now sirke wale pyaz hain, तो सिरका तो जाएगा, but sirka should not be boiled. Always remember, some people make the mistake of boiling the sirka. Don't boil the sirka, because if you boil the sirka, it loses its flavor. So 1 cup of water में हमने बीटरूट और स्पाइसेस उबाले और प्याज डाल दिया, गैस बंद कर दी और जो भी डालना है हरी मिर्ची और अदरक, और उसके बाद इसमें सिरका डाल दिया. और अब हमने इसको धो लाओ. अब इसमें हमने ठंडा करना है, ऐसे नहीं, ठंडा करने के बाद ऐसे ढक के रख दूंगी. ठंडा करने के बाद जैसे आपको जार दिखाया था वैसे आप जार में डाल दें और आप ऐसे मिट्टी के कसूरे में आप ऐसे सर्व कर सकते हैं अपने सिरके वाले प्याज वगैरह। ओके, अब नमकीन का सब काम हो गया, मीठा करते हैं। वैसे भी जब आप मीठा करते हो तो हमेशा आप नमकीन का काम पहले खत्म कर लो और फिर मीठे का काम शुरू करो। नाउ व्हेन वी आर डूइंग द अंजीर की कुल्फी, लेट्स डू अंजीर की कुल्फी। नाउ कुल्फी साउंड्स इंटरेस्टिंग एंड अंजीर की और अच्छी लगती है। मेरे घर में तो फेवरेट है अंजीर की कुल्फी। What you need to do is, first of all, whatever kulfi you are doing, this is thickened milk. I've already done this part because I couldn't do it in front of you. Take a liter of milk, whole fat milk, full cream milk. You boil it in a kadhai, keep scraping the sides and boil it for about 15 minutes. Then you add 1/3 cup of sugar. एंड शुगर डालने के बाद शुगर चीनी पानी छोड़ती है, फिर 5 मिनट उबालो उसको, धीमी आंच पे करो, 5 मिनट फिर उबालो ताकि चीनी अपना सारा पानी छोड़ दे और वो सूख जाए, अदरवाइज you'll have crystals in your mouth. So you boil your milk, add sugar and boil again for 5 minutes. After that, dissolve 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour in a little milk, नॉट दिस थिकन्ड मिल्क, ये गरम है। अपने अलग से थोड़ा सा 2-4 चम्मच 1/4 कप दूध लेकर उसमें कॉर्नफ्लावर डाल के, अब कॉर्नफ्लावर को ज्यादा देर नहीं पकाना, 2 मिनट की तरह पकाओगे और इतना थिक होना चाहिए कि आपके स्पून को ये कोट करने लगे। तो ये मैंने कल करके रखा है और ये गाढ़ा ऑलरेडी है, तो इसमें चीनी भी है और कॉर्नफ्लावर भी है। अब इसके आगे कैसे प्रोसीड करना है। आप अंजीर की कुल्फी बना रहे हैं तो ये ऐसी 10-15 अंजीर ले लो, आप छोटी 10-15 अंजीर ले लो और उसे थोड़ी देर आप पानी में भिगो दो, बहुत गर्म पानी में नहीं, पिचपिची हो जाती है, so you don't want it mushy, so not very hot boiling water, just a little warm water, hot water, and then 5 minutes is good enough. Then scrub it nicely to wash and chop it finely like this. And half the anjeer you put in a mixie. I've kept half here separately. So half the anjeer you put in the mixie and take a little bit of this milk that we had thickened, just enough to grind it. Not too much, but maybe 1.5 cut cheese would be. Isko grind karke le aao. Now in the anjeer kulfi, I'm also going to do some rose petals. Now, how I have these dried rose petals. Now, how did I make these dried rose petals? What you need to do is take a desi gulab. I couldn't get a desi gulab. Take a desi gulab and just wash it. This is already washed. And put the leaves here and microwave these. I always have this in my fridge, these dry rose petals, because it's very difficult to keep getting the fresh. Okay, now this paste is ready. I just microwave it for about 2 minutes and leave it outside and it gets dried. So now this is the thickened milk. This is the anjeer paste. Grind it smoothly to a paste. And what else do we add in this? I'm adding a little khoya in this. So again, if you don't have khoya, here you can add half a cup of cream if you like. You can add half a cup of cream, thick cream, not patli cream, because the next kulfi that we do is going to be with khoya, but you're calling it a malai kulfi, so khoya is the best. And a little bit of anjeer I'm adding, which I had chopped. And this is the khoya that I'm adding. What else goes into it? Some rose petals, some almonds, which I have roasted. When you roast the almonds, do you chop and roast or do you roast whole? When you chop and roast, you burn them. So always roast them whole. in a pan or in the microwave and then put them on a cloth and then just beat them with a rolling pin, because if you put them on a cloth, they don't fly off. So I prefer doing that. And I'm adding some roasted almonds. Let me add the whole thing. Yeah. So now all you have to do is, this is ready to go. And we put them in our kulfi ka sancha. Like this. If you want to put a stick, all you have to do is to take a double foil, put it like this, and it's a good idea to, just put a knife, cut it with a knife, yeah, and put a stick inside like this and freeze them, maybe in a basket or something where they can stand upright. Now I'll take out this kulfi and show it to you. Now when you want to take out these kulfis, remove this, and if you like, you can just dip it in water for a second. Do this. And just rotate it slightly. And your kulfi comes out like this. You can then take out the rose petals. Rose petals nikalo. You can put some badam on top. You can put some pumpkin seeds if you like. I'm going to teach you a nice syrup. And you can put those also. See, these rose petals are all dry. You can crush these if you like. And our anjeer kulfi is ready to go. See how easily it's come out by dipping it in water. So this is our anjeer kulfi. Next we'll do the mango kulfi. For the mango kulfi, I have another batch of milk that I have done the same way as I told you earlier. Now all this rose will go into this jar and I'll put it in the freezer for my next kulfis or any Indian desserts. Okay. Now for the mango kulfi, I have in this you can add, in the anjeer kulfi you could add a little gulab jal if you want. I'm adding a little kevra essence to my mango kulfi mixture. And now ये क्या है? It's the same. दूध को गाढ़ा किया है 15 मिनट, चीनी डाली है 5 मिनट और गाढ़ा किया है, 1.5 चम्मच कॉर्नफ्लावर अलग से दूध में घोल के डाला है, फिर 2 मिनट गाढ़ा किया है, फिर ठंडा कर लिया है. तो ये हमारा गाढ़ा ठंडा किया हुआ दूध है कॉर्नफ्लावर और चीनी के साथ. और अब आप लोगे इसमें 1 आम और आधा कप क्रीम, और इसको भी आप मिक्सी में पीसोगे. तो हमने ले लिया ये अपना आम और इसमें डाल दी क्रीम और इसको मिक्सी में हम चला लेंगे. कभी कभी अगर आपके आम जो है बहुत मीठे नहीं होते हैं तो कई बार चेक कर लो और चीनी डाल दो. तो अगर चीनी डालने की जरूरत पड़े, अभी नहीं, आम डालने के बाद, तो पिसी हुई चीनी का आपने इस्तेमाल करना है. तो चीनी डालने के लिए हम चेक करके देख लेते हैं. अब आम और वो पिस के आ जाता है. सो आई होप बोथ द कुल्फीज आर डन. एंड नाउ आई टीच यू अनदर थिंग विथ रबड़ी शॉट्स, यू नो, सैफरन रबड़ी शॉट्स. तो उसके लिए मैं अभी एक चीज और बनाऊंगी. और मैंगो कुल्फी में अगर आप बादाम या पिस्ता डालना चाहे तो डालें. आई mostly don't put it because the children prefer a real mango flavor. Sometimes you make the mistake of putting chopped mango in it. That doesn't taste very nice because that chopped mango freezes and it doesn't taste so nice. Now this is the mango and cream mixture which I've added to this, and I had already added the kevda jal, and our kulfi mixture is ready. Just mix it well and our kulfi mixture is ready. Now for this dessert, ये मैंने एक पानी लिया है और उसमें मैंने केसर डाल दिया है। तो ये केसर वाला पानी को थोड़ा सा उबाल लो। ये मैं क्या सिखा रही हूँ आपको, अब इसमें अच्छा उबाला आ गया है। And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of गुरुजी ठंडाई, केसरी ठंडाई, यू नो सैफरन है ना, तो केसरी ठंडाई मिक्सचर है। तो ये मैंने निकाल के रखा है। तो मैंने केसर वाले पानी में, अब मुझे चीनी नहीं डालनी क्योंकि इस ठंडाई में बहुत चीनी होती है, और इसे अब मैं गाढ़ा करूंगी थोड़े से कॉर्नफ्लावर से। कॉर्नफ्लावर में थोड़ा सा पानी मिलाकर बस मेरा केसरी मिक्सचर तैयार है। लेट मी जस्ट टेस्ट दिस। वैसे तो ये ठीक ही होगा। अब हमारा ये भी मिक्सचर तैयार हो गया है। नाउ हाउ टू मेक दिस। ये हमारा क्या मिक्सचर है, अंजीर कुल्फी का मिक्सचर है। ये मैं अंजीर कुल्फी से मलाई रबड़ी है ये। थोड़ा सा मैं केसरी सिरप डाल रही हूँ इसके अंदर। थोड़ा ठंडा होने देना, इतनी जल्दी जल्दी नहीं करना। ठंडा हो जाए तब ये ग्लास को अच्छी तरह कोट करेगा। उसके बाद हम डालेंगे, ये भी अब ये मिल रहा है क्योंकि ठंडा नहीं हुआ है। रबड़ी भी ठंडी होनी चाहिए आपकी, और ये भी ठंडा होना चाहिए। और इसके ऊपर फिर आप एक डॉट इसका डालोगे, और ऊपर से एक फ्रेश रोज पेटल लगा दो, और थोड़े से अगर नट्स हो तो आप ये नट्स डाल दो। नट्स, तो आपका ये शॉर्ट्स भी ऐसे बन सकते हैं।